Okay, we are ready. Jai Sparikar Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai Shri Radha Madhava Jiu Ki Jai Shri Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai Jai Shri Jhulana Yatra Ki Jai Shri Radha Damodara Jhulana Yatra Ki Jai Jai Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Statara Sata Shri Shila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Statara Sata Shri Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astotara Sata Shri Shila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Mahabhagavat Shri Srila Gaurkishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauri Vedanta Chadra Baladeva Jabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Gaur Parsada Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jai Shri Gaura Mandala Shri Kshetra Mandala Shri Braj Mandala Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvadashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu Ki Jai Srimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashta Sakhi Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda Ki Jai Srimati Brinda Devi Ki Jai Srimati Purnamasi Yogamaya Devi Ki Jai Shri Gopishwar Mahadev Ki Jai Sarva Bhishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Jagannatha Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsinga Dev Ki Jai Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Charodam Charu Sampradaya Charu Acharya Ki Jai Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai Parananya Shaka Mat Samuha Ki Jai Shri Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Tribhuvana Pavana Harinama Samkirtana Ki Jai Tribhuvana Mangala Harinama Prabhu Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai Shri Pancha Tattva Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Shri Radha Govinda Jhulana Yatra Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Jhulana Yatra Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Jhulana Yatra Ki Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Pad Transcendental Tirubhav Mahamahotsav Ki Jai 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 Shri Radhe Shyam. So today is Who's that? There's one in Delhi, I heard. No, they're not saying that anymore. You know, on the schedule, Manjari, she just posted, you know, and they have Bhaktivedanta Padmanabha there. Last year, I think I was invited to speak online, but this year I think they're doing most of it live. And a lot of it is probably going to be in Hindi, because so many of the other senior Indian sannyasis. Oh yeah, because Bhagavad Maharaj is, I think, in Europe. I don't think he's there. Unless he just suddenly returned to India. I don't know. All right, so anyway, today is a very blissful day. Do you know why it's a blissful day? Maharaj can tell us. Shripad Sajan Maharaj can tell us why today is a blissful day.
On this holy, auspicious observance of Jhulana yatra, the swing festival of Radha Krishna. One day before the Jhulana Mahotsava, Rupa Goswami and the association of Padmanabha and all the Vaishnavas.
Oh, that's the other. Where's the microphone for Maharaj? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah? Jai. But what's the main thing about today? Like the main transcendental, you just have to keep it a little bit farther apart. Yeah. The main transcendental, like, pastime of Radha and Krishna that makes this festival, 5-day festival in Vrindavan, so special. You just here, you can keep it here.
So many temples here.
No, down low, below.
They're making beautiful Jhulana, beautiful swing for Radha and Krishna.
Yeah.
And also today is Ekadasi Titi.
Ekadasi Titi ki jai.
So on this day, a beautiful swing festival that we will hear about from Sri Gopal Champu.
No. Ananda Vrindavan Champu.
Ananda Vrindavan Champu.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate to be here, participate in this festival. I asked Madhusudana Prabhu, he said the festival began at 4:30.
Yeah, it's later. They do all kinds of decoration and everything. That's good. So this afternoon we should go into the temple room when the curtains open, and then they bring the small deities. Have you seen? Did you see? Did you see the big swing in the temple room? You didn't see. So huge swing for the deities. I think it's the biggest one I've ever seen in any temple.
Sanatan is pretty big.
Huh?
Sanatan also.
No, not that big though. No. This is like 3 or 4 times as big, because we have more space. At Rup Sanatan, they have very little space. But the swing itself, yeah, at Rup Sanatan, the swing is one of the biggest at any of the temples in Vrindavan. So anyway, I just wanted to read the song first, because there's 2 songs that are always sung in Vrindavan for Jhulana Yatra Day. And they're very sweet songs about Radha and Krishna. Oh, yeah. So they're in Hindi language, and so we have to envision that towards the end of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, then Krishna was dancing Ras Leela, and there were so many other very sweet and intimate pastimes performed by Krishna with the Braja Gopis and Srimati Radhika. Of course, without Radhika there, none of those pastimes can take place. But they have the pastime also of the gopis stealing Krishna's flute. Yes. The gopis are very stealthy. They know how to steal, because Krishna is a very big thief. So anyone who is a supreme worshipper of Krishna like the gopis are, they also know that art. And they try to steal Krishna's flute and pass it around amongst themselves, hiding it. So that's a very sweet pastime in this book also. And then after that took place this swing pastime of Radha and Krishna, which is called Jhulana yatra. In the Hindi language, the word Jhulan means swing. So why is this a big event? Why is it such a major event that Radha and Krishna should swing on a swing? Is that something out of the ordinary? Human beings are swinging on swings all the time. Especially children. They love to swing, swing, swing. But also adults. And they like to also swing on their porch. It's very relaxing. But in Vrindavan, this pastime of Krishna swinging with the gopis have their own swings, and Krishna has his swing that he sits on with Srimati Radhika. Yes. And then Krishna performs the most amazing, incredible swinging on these swings. And this is all being described in the chapter that we're going to read. How beautiful is the as the forest. The forest is completely arranged by Vrindadevi, Yogamaya, to assist Krishna's enjoyment in tasting rasa. Yeah. And so in this pastime there's so many beautiful descriptions of how the trees are intertwined, how there's a stage set up, how there's so many beautiful tall branches of trees, how the swings are tied with golden like golden ropes. They're tied to the branches of these trees. And the gopis, they have their own swings also. And so there's a very big competition. Just like Krishna, when he dances with the gopis in the rasa dance, Krishna expands himself into millions of Krishnas. Can anyone else do that? Of course we know also Krishna moves very quickly, but for the most part, Srimad Bhagavatam describes how Krishna expands himself. Can anyone else do that? Is there anybody else that can expand himself into millions of forms and dance with millions of gopis simultaneously? No. Only Krishna can do that. Not even any of his expansions. Baladev can expand and dance with gopis, but he doesn't perform like that, the way that Krishna did in Ras Leela. So, why are Krishna's beautiful Madhurya Rasa pastimes so sweet and so powerful for purification of our heart? Why? Because they're describing the highest enjoyment of the supreme enjoyer of the entire creation, and how he is enjoying, and how the gopis are assisting in his enjoyment. This is all there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the pastimes of Krishna, tasting rasa. So on this day in Vrindavan, this is celebrated. This is celebrated. All over Vrindavan for 5 days. All the different temples, even in the people's homes, they have some kind of swing for their own personal Radha and Krishna deities, and they're being swung. We know also in Badger Festival, they have a swing at the Govardhan Hill there, where the devotees, and Gurudev would stop and he would pull that string. They would put the small deities of Radha and Krishna on that swing.
In the temple also now, during this festival, they have a swing hanging from the raft in the temple.
Oh, during the Badger Festival?
No, during Jhulana Yatra.
Oh, Jhulana Yatra, yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, so this is such a beautiful pastime, and it takes place in a very, very special time of the year. What is this time of the year? This time of the year is the rainy season. That's why we are experiencing. So, in Gurudev's Harikatha on purebhakti.com, there is a description here of one of his lectures from August 8th, 2003, for this day. You can find it on the Vaishnava calendar, because the Vaishnava calendar has what is called Titi Harikatha. You just press on that and it goes to purebhakti.com, and then it has a list of different lectures for any of the days throughout the whole year. Titi Harikatha. But on special days, then they have specifically highlighted in like yellow color that this is the lecture for the Jhulana Yatra Swing Festival. So, here's how Gurudev is describing this month. This month is called the month of Shravan. In India, this is called month of Shravan. And it's during the rainy season. So what happens in this month? The clouds in the sky, they begin to make very thundering sound. And very extremely fine rains, mist, like very fine rains, they begin to drizzle everywhere. Gurudev is describing this because he lived there for 50 years, more than 50 years. And he's describing every year during that time of the year when the rains come down. Sajan Maharaj just came from Vrindavan during the Purushottam month, and they had huge rains that were flooding, and still going on. How long did it stay like that? Oh, okay. But then it receded. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Gurudev is saying that this very sweet rain starts to drizzle everywhere in Vrindavan, like mist. And the atmosphere is very beautiful and very pleasant. So, why? Because the heat of the summer months has been blazing, especially in Vrindavan. And when this time of the year comes, oh, so much relief. And what happens is, he says, many types of flowers on both sides of the Yamuna, they begin to bloom. Which types of flowers? And one more. Yes. Oh, actually Madhavi. Here he says Madhavi flowers. Beli, Chameli, Jui, Gurudev would always say. So, because those flowers are blooming, what happens? The bumblebees, they're looking here and there. And what are the bumblebees doing? They're singing Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Yes. And what other creatures in Vrindavan? The cuckoo birds. The cuckoo birds are also calling out Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Yes. And who else is calling out during that rainy season? The peacocks and the peahens, They are all calling out what? No, here they go, Keka, Keka, Keka. So in Hindi language, K and Ka. What does K mean? K is asking who? K, who? So the peacocks and the peahens, they're singing, which male person? Which male person? Who? K. Which male person has the ability to do a very wonderful thing? Very wonderful thing. What is that? That's Srimati Radhika's man. You know, man. That means her sulky mood. Sulky, of transcendental loving, jealous anger. That's called man. In our Sangha we know this word very well, because Gurudev would talk about it so much. So that man of Srimati Radhika's, as well as her shyness and also her patience, they're like a very tall, immovable mountain. Yes. So the question is, the peacocks are saying, "Okay, which male person can crush that mountain into powder so that there is nothing left?" Which male person can do that? Radhika's mountain of man. Oh, this person is Sri Krishna. So the peacocks are announcing, this person who can do that, only Krishna, no one else. Then the word Ka means which female person can also do a very wonderful thing. And what is that? Oh, there is a very powerful mad elephant named Sri Krishna, whom no one can control. No one. No one can control that elephant. But there is one person, however. By the goad, you know, a goad means the stick that the elephant driver, he has a stick, and at the end of it, it has like a hook, almost shaped like a hook. And that's how the elephant is controlled, by the elephant driver. And do you know, on the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, she has so many symbols, and that's one of them. Yeah, a goad. So, yes, one person by the goad of her man. Yes, by her jealous anger. That's a very powerful weapon. She can catch that elephant, bring him under her control, and then bind him in the shackles of her praying. Can anyone else do that? No. So who is that? Who is that person? Who? Srimati who? Everyone say her name. Radhika. Who? So only Radhika can do that. No one else. So in this way, the peacocks and the peahens, they glorify Srimati Radharani and they glorify Lord Krishna. Now, at the time of this Shravan season, the rainy season, then everything becomes green. Yes, it becomes green. Did you see how green everything became? Yes. Also in Badger, California, New Braj, it also becomes very dry. Very dry. But in the winter, after many months of no rain, then rain starts to come. And then gradually, by the springtime, it received enough rain and everything turns very green. But it doesn't take long up there, because when the rain stops, there ain't no more. And then the fire seasons, like now, they start. So, everything becomes very green. The summer, it was dry, but now the rain has come and all the greenery has come to life again. All the young brides, they are taken at this time from their mother-in-law's homes by their brothers. Did you know that? That in Braj, yes, at this time, this is the time of the year when all the young ladies, the wives, who have left their father's homes and now they live in their in-laws' home. They live in the home of the parents of their husband. So, but at this time of the year, they come back to the home of their own fathers. So it's a very special time. And who comes to bring them back to their father's home? Their brother. Yes. Yeah. So, Srimati Radhika, she was still at her in-laws' home in Yavat. However, because her brother Sridham, he had not come. And much time had passed. And finally he arrived there on the full moon day with some clothing and some ornaments to pacify Srimati Radhika's mother-in-law, Jatila. And when Srimati Radhika saw her brother, Srimati Radhika wept. "Oh, my dear brother, why have you come so late? Only a few days remain of this Shravan month. Why did you come late? Did you forget me?" So then Srimati Radhika very happily, she left Yavat and then she went to Varshana, Vrishabhanupur, with her brother, and there she met together with all of her Sakhis, with all of her intimate friends, because they had also returned to their maternal homes at that time. And it was a very beautiful meeting and reunion in the place of their childhood play. Now, the Sakhis, they made a Jhulan, they made a swing for her, for Radhika. They always make the swing on a certain type of tree. Do you know which type of tree they always make this swing on? Kadamba, not Tamal. Why? Because the significance of a Kadamba tree is that it carries the complexion of Srimati Radhika. But the Tamal tree has a complexion of Sri Krishna. And guess what? The Tamal tree is not very powerful, but the Kadamba tree is very strong and very beautiful. So this signifies the superiority of Srimati Radhika. She can control Lord Krishna by her love. So now Gurudev is quoting the verse from the Jhulan song, and now he's telling a little bit about it. He's saying, Jhula Jhule Radha Damodar Vrindavana me Kaisi Chai Hariyali Ali Kunjan me. This means that Radha Damodar are swinging on the swing in Vrindavan. Oh friend, how very green the Kunja is. So Gurudev is saying that we sing this kirtan at the time of swinging Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And it describes how Krishna has come and he's waiting at the swing with folded palms. Krishna is waiting at the swing with folded palms for his beloved to come. And Srimati Radhika, she's in Man. And her Sakhis tried to persuade her to come by saying, please give up your sulky mood and come at once to your beloved Krishna. He is waiting for you. So in this way, they are observing Jhulana yatra, and they are remembering the sweet pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. So then, at this point, then Gurudev, he goes to the temple. This is in 2003. He went to the temple of Sri Radha Gopinath Gaudiya Mutt in Vrindavan. And that's just a 5-minute walk from where Gurudev was speaking. That's not the one of Srila Puri Maharaj. This is the one right next to Gopinath Bhavan. It was like a big house. And that's also Gopinath Gaudiya Mutt. You know that place? We used to have classes there years and years ago. Yeah. So, but then there at that temple, then Gurudev began to speak about tomorrow's big day, about Srila Rupa Goswami, and how we will celebrate for the next 3 days. We will celebrate. And actually that will be going on in Vrindavan, and they will have an online katha going on 2 times a day, morning and evening, and they have all the sessions online where who's going to be speaking and which topic, like that. So Gurudev says that tomorrow is the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami. And even though there are many great acharyas, yes, so many great acharyas we have, but even though there are many great acharyas, Srila Rupa Goswami, he has been attributed with the honor of being that person who established the what? Mano Bhishtam, the innermost heart's desire of Sri Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Sriman Mahaprabhu came to the village of Ramkeli Gram, he met with Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, and he told them, leave your homes and be with me. And then after a short time they left their homes, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came from Vrindavan. After he went to Vrindavan and he came back, and then he met with Srila Rupa Goswami Pad at Prayag, where the confluence of the rivers Yamuna and Ganga. And then Mahaprabhu told to him, to Rupa Goswami, because that was when Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days. But the first statement that he makes to Rupa Goswami, he says, Parapara shunya gabir bhakti rasa sindhu, tomai chakaite tar kahi ek bindu. This means Mahaprabhu is telling Rupa Goswami that there is this big, huge ocean. It's called Bhakti Rasa Sindhu, ocean of transcendental mellows of devotional service. Bhakti Rasa Sindhu. And that ocean is so large that no one can even estimate its length and its breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing Eka Bindu, 1 drop. So then Lord Chaitanya gave 1 drop of the ocean of Ras to Srila Rupa Goswami, and that 1 drop was sufficient to inundate millions upon millions of universes. And then later he met with Srila Sanatana Goswami at Varanasi. So after some time, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, they came here to Vrindavan and they began to perform their bhajan, their hearing, their chanting, and their remembering about Krishna. So Rupa Goswami, he thought, oh, in order to fulfill the innermost heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will write a drama. And in this drama, I will explain the beauty of the meeting pastimes of Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna in Vrindavan, and then I will also describe their separation pastimes when Lord Krishna leaves Vrindavan and he goes to Mathura and to Dwarka. I will explain how, by their expansions, Srimati Radhika and all the Sakhis, somehow or other, by the medium of their expansions, they went to Dwarka and they became Lord Krishna's 16,108 queens. Yes. So those queens are the gopis, but in different mood. So Rupa Goswami intended to write this in one drama, in one book. But while he was traveling towards Jagannath Puri, he came to the village of Satyabhama Pur. Who is Satyabhama? Who is Satyabhama, you know? Who is Rukmini? Who is Rukmini? But who is she? She's Krishna's queen in Dwarka, yes? Is she the chief queen? Yes. In Dwarka, she's the chief queen. Yes, chief. Topmost. Yes. And who is Satyabhama? No. She's the next queen in Dwarka. Yes. There's a rivalry between those two queens. Just like there is between Radharani and Chandravali in Vrindavan. They have a rivalry which enhances Krishna's tasting of ras. So, this village that Rupa Goswami was passing through on his way to Jagannath Puri to see Mahaprabhu, then in that village, which was named Satyabhama Pur, is named after Queen Satyabhama, who is actually Srimati Radhika in Dwarka Lila. So there, Srimati Satyabhama Devi, Lord Krishna's, here Gurudev is saying Lord Krishna's chief queen. So she appeared to him in a dream and she told him, Satyabhama spoke to Rupa Goswami in the dream and she told him, please don't make only one drama. Please divide it into two parts. So then when Srila Rupa Goswami finally arrived at Jagannath Puri and he met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the Lord confirmed what he had heard from Srimati Satyabhama in his dream, and Sriman Mahaprabhu told him, don't do what?
Take Krishna.
Yes, don't take Krishna out of Vrindavan. And why did he say that? Because he understood that he was going to combine these two pastimes of meeting and separation. He was going to combine them in one drama. But now he explained why Satyabhama said that, not to take Krishna out of Vrindavan. So here's a verse that Mahaprabhu quoted to Rupa Goswami, and he says, Krishnonyo yadusambhuta yak purna sostyata para Vrindavana parityajya sakvachin naiva gacchati. So here Mahaprabhu is saying that yadu sambhuto. So the Krishna who is known as Yadu Kumar, Krishnonyo Yadu Sambhuto. That Krishna, known as Yadu Kumar, is actually who? Vasudeva Krishna. That Krishna in Mathura Dwarka, that's Vasudeva Krishna. And Mahaprabhu is saying that he is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. So, Yadu Kumar Krishna, he manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. That Krishna never leaves at any time. So, my question to you, is there a time in the whole history of the whole creation, top to bottom, all the universes, is there any history where Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, has left and gone out of Vrindavan? What do you think? You're shaking your head yes. But shrugging your shoulders, I don't know. Okay.
When Krishna went out from Vrindavan, this Krishna went to Dwarka, and our Krishna, Nanda, he will stay in Vrindavan.
You are absolutely correct. And that's what this verse is saying. Vrindavana Prityajya. Prityajya means giving up Vrindavan. Giving up Vrindavan. Sakvachin naiva gacchati. He never, ever gives up Vrindavan. But my question is, well, Krishna performs his pastimes in all of the universes of the material creation as well. Yes, he performs his pastimes in innumerable universes, millions upon millions of universes. And he also manifests his leelas of Vrindavan Leela, Mathura Leela, and Dwarka Leela in all of his pastimes. So maybe in some other universe, Krishna actually left Vrindavan. Is there a possibility of that? Absolutely not. Otherwise Mahaprabhu would not say that. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Do you know why Krishna never leaves Vrindavan? You know why? What's the reason? Why Krishna never leaves Vrindavan? What?
Vrindavan is the heart of Vrindavan.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Why Krishna never leaves Vrindavan? Huh? Yeah. Any other reasons? What about in Kurukshetra, when Srimati Radharani's expansion went there and met Krishna? What did Radharani tell to Krishna?
They explained about, do you remember before Simona or everything? At this place, very
Sweet pastimes.
it was very fit, this place, not this place.
Yes.
That place.
Very suitable. Yes. And then what did she express to Krishna? I want that you will go there again. And I want to tell you something, Krishna, that my heart is Vrindavan. And my heart is only there in Vrindavan. I can never be anywhere else, only there. So I want you to be very merciful, Krishna, and please place your lotus feet again in my heart and come to Vrindavan, because then there we can enjoy as we enjoyed all of our sweet pastimes. But this place here cannot do. Yes, it is very wonderful to see you. I am enjoying so much. But compared to Vrindavan, there's not even one little tiny fraction of that enjoyment. So I want to bring you back to Vrindavan. And then Srimati Radhika and the gopis, by expressing this mood, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually actuated, he made this mood that Srimati Radhika expressed to come into reality, to be enacted like a drama. Where? In Jagannath Puri, at the Rath Yatra festival. And now Mahaprabhu is Radha and is dancing in front of Krishna on the chariot of what? Her heart. And the gopis are pulling the ropes to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan, and Mahaprabhu is dancing and expressing the ecstasy of Srimati Radhika like no one has ever seen or heard of before. His incredible dancing. Why? Because Radharani is so joyful. Krishna is coming back to Vrindavan. You see? So Krishna can never leave Vrindavan. Actually, he never left. Only his expansion left. But still, for the sake of pastimes and Krishna's tasting of rasa, Srila Bharati Maharaj, I was reading his katha the other day, and he was explaining how this Dwarkadish Krishna, he can experience separation, because the devotee was asking, well, how is it possible? Because he's an expansion of Krishna, that Vasudeva Krishna. You see, so how can he be feeling separation from the gopis, you know? So very nice explanation. Srila Bharati Maharaj was saying how this is all arranged by Yogamaya. Everything, top to bottom, is arranged by Yogamaya to only increase Krishna's ras and Krishna's enjoyment. So, therefore, Yogamaya makes it possible that Krishna in Dwarka can feel that separation mood from Radha and the gopis. So, like this, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So after Rupa Goswami heard that instruction from Mahaprabhu, he divided his drama into two parts. And the first part is, I'll ask you if you know the names of these two. I'll give you a hint. It has the word Madhava in the title. Huh? Venu? Venu, no. Vidagda. You know what Vidagda means? Very expert, very expert. Krishna is so expert in all of his beautiful plays and pastimes with the Braja Gopis. Vidagda Madhava is the first part of Krishna's Vrindavan Vraj Leela. And then he wrote for the second part, for Mathura and Dwarka, he gave the title of what? Lalita. Lalita Madhava. So, yes. So Gurudev is saying that in the second part, in Lalita Madhava, so Krishna goes to Dwarka, and all the gopis of Vrindavan were reunited with him in the form of the queens of Dwarka. So all arranged by Yogamaya. So now Gurudev asks the question, why did Srila Rupa Goswami do this? Well, this is a very deep Siddhanta, Gurudev says. Why did he divide these in two? This is very deep Siddhanta, conclusive, philosophical truth. And Srila Kavi Karnapur, a very great devotee, he has composed Sri Ananda Vrindavan Champu. And in this book, he described the pastimes of Lord Krishna from his birth up to the Ras Leela, and also the divine couple's swing pastimes. But then he stopped there. He stopped. And he didn't go any further than this in describing Krishna's pastimes. He didn't describe about Krishna going to Mathura or Dwarka. Why? Because this separation mood is very difficult to tolerate for the pure devotees. And he was thinking, my mistress, Radhika, cannot tolerate this separation, so I will not write about it. That's why. Now Srila Rupa Goswami, however, he has written about the moods of both meeting and separation. And tomorrow, on Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, I'm going to read from the beautiful book that describes Rupa Goswami's speciality by Gurudev, and it's a compilation of short, very small little book. What's it called? Forget the title. So, but Rupa Goswami, he has written about these moods of both meeting and separation. Why? Because this separation mood is a very deep, transcendental, ecstatic feeling. And at the time of meeting, though Radharani and Krishna are together, so because of that, something may be forgotten or lost in the heart compared to when they're in separation. So on the other hand, at the time of separation, there is complete meeting in new and in fresh ways in the heart. But not only inside the heart, but sometimes externally there are spurtis, temporary visions in which the loved one is actually present. So actually Krishna was always there. Krishna was always watching the gopis. The whole time that he was in Mathura and Dwarka, he was secretly hiding there and watching and relishing their moods of separation. Yes. He never left Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami, knowing all of these very profound, transcendental, established truths, and also wanting to establish the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within the world, so Srila Rupa Goswami also glorified the mood of separation. And this is one of his main reasons why he's this Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, who established Mahaprabhu's internal moods, because he described, he glorified the mood of separation. So then Gurudev points out that although this mood is very, very high and also has many transcendental features that will not come at the time of meeting, but still, it is not our goal of life. Then he says, no Gaudiya Vaishnavas want that Sri Sri Radha and Krishna will be eternally separated, even though it's so special and so high. What kind of person would want this? No Brajvasi would want it. However, there is a place for this separation mood, and Srila Rupa Goswami has explained this in his book, Ujjvala Nilamani. He says, Navina Vipralamba Sambhog Pushti Mashnute. What does that mean? Na vina vipralamba sambhog pushti mashnute. That means without the mood of separation, the mood of meeting will not be nourished, and it will not come to increasingly higher stages. So both the pastimes of separation are very important because they play the role of nourishing the sweetness of meeting. So when Srila Rupa Goswami was in Puri with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the Lord was dancing at the Rath Yatra festival, and Lord Chaitanya began to utter a verse while he was dancing at the very beginning of the Rath Yatra. And he uttered this verse, which people were familiar at that time, some of the scholars of that time. It was from a book called the Sahitya Darpana. And this is a book of mundane poetry, but it's probably very amazing poetry, so that's why it's so well known. But it's about mundane, ordinary poetry. And here's the verse that Mahaprabhu was raising his hands and proclaiming this verse in front of Lord Jagannath as he was dancing. Yakomara hara sa eva hivaras ta eva chaitra kshapas te chon milita malati surabhaya prodha kadambanila sachaivasmi tatapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidho reva rodasi vetasi tarutale chetak samutkantate. So this is spoken by a lady who is expressing that she has come to the very same place on the banks of a river named Reva. And it is this month of Chaitra. And she's remembering in that very place when she was younger, then the person who became her husband stole her heart there at that very place in the banks of the Reva. So she's telling that very personality who stole away my heart during my youth, he is now again my master. And these are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. And the same fragrance of malati flowers is there. The same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. And in our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, but yet my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. So Mahaprabhu is singing this verse. And many people were wondering, why is Mahaprabhu, a sannyasi, singing this apparently mundane love poetry? Why? So no one could understand why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was uttering this verse. And no one could understand in what mood he was absorbed. But there was one young boy there. Gurudev always says young boy. So I was thinking yesterday when I was reading this, how young was Rupa Goswami at that time? How young? We don't have any idea, actually. I don't think there's a way for us to know how young. But he must have been more like at least in his late 20s, maybe something like that, or early 30s. Because they were already employed by the Muslim emperor. So So no one could understand Mahaprabhu's uttering this verse, but there was one young boy there, however. He was named Rupa, and who later on, that young boy became that very same Rupa Goswami. There and then, upon hearing this verse from Mahaprabhu, another verse appeared in his own heart, and he wrote it down. He wrote that verse down, but the verse appeared in his heart. And this is the parallel verse wherein Rupa Goswami is describing exactly what Mahaprabhu meant by singing this other mundane poetry. But this is the actual meaning in Mahaprabhu's heart. This is the verse written by Rupa Goswami. Priyasoyam Krishna Sahachari Kurukshetra Militas Tataham Sa Radha Tadidam Ubayo Sangama Sukam Tatapyanta Kelan Madhura Murali Panchamajushe Manome Kalindi Pulina Vipinaya Sprihayati. Now, who is actually speaking this verse? Rupa Goswami is writing down this verse, and this verse appeared in his heart when he was trying to comprehend Mahaprabhu's mood. But who's actually the speaker of this verse? Yes, Radharani is the speaker of this verse. And where is she speaking it? At Kurukshetra. So she says, my dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. And I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. Oh, it is very pleasant, but still I would like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there, and I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the 5th note within that forest of Vrindavan. So in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has clarified Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's inner meaning. And thus, he revealed to the world the importance of Parakiya Ras, the mood of paramour love between Lord Krishna and the gopis. Srila Rupa Goswami, he is that very person who established within this world the innermost heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So after Sriman Mahaprabhu disappeared from the vision of the world, then what happened? After Mahaprabhu disappeared from the vision of this world, he was no longer within this world. What happened was that the discussion of Parakiya Rasa, it was not prominent. So according to the scripture, mundane ras, this world's love between those who are unmarried, it is very immoral, it is very illicit, and it is also very sinful. This is according to the scripture. That's called mundane ras. They are not married, but they're meeting and they're having these exchanges. However, in addition to manifesting the endless varieties and the endless wonder of Vipralamba and Sambhog, that means separation and meeting, these meeting and separation pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he manifested the endless varieties and the wonder of these meeting and separation pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But not only that, in addition, Srila Rupa Goswami also established the superiority of Parakiya Ras. Very important to understand this. And by using evidence from many different Shastras, he proved that Lord Sri Krishna is not an ordinary Nayaka. Nayaka means a lover, a hero. And Radhika is not an ordinary Nayika, a beloved. No. So in other words, when there is meeting between a mundane lover and a mundane beloved in the Parakiya mood, it is very sinful. But Sri Krishna, he is a transcendental personality. He is God himself, and everything is possible for him. So therefore, if he is the object of the Parakiya Bhav, then there is no fault or no defect in this. Rather, this is the topmost, supremely pure manifestation of Madhurya Prem and the romantic mood. Big difference. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he established the fact that Lord Krishna himself came into this world to taste these mellows. And as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna experienced the Parakiya Bhakti Rasa that is within the heart of Srimati Radhika. So, in this way, Rupa Goswami, what did he do? He established this truth, this fact, that Lord Krishna himself came into this world to taste what? Parakiya Rasa. Lord Krishna himself. And then he also came into this world as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in that way, Krishna was experiencing, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Parakiya Bhakti Rasa that is within the heart of Srimati Radhika. And then he quotes the verse, Anarpita Chirim Chirat, written by Rupa Goswami. Anarpita Chirim Chirat Kurunayavatirna Kalo Samarpaitum Unatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratuva Sachinandana. You know that Rupa Goswami, when Mahaprabhu came to Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir in Jagannath Puri, then he came with many great exalted Vaishnavas and scholars and exalted, most Rasik personalities, Sarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, and so many others. And then they wanted to inquire. You can read this. This is in Antya-lila, chapter 1. They inquired from Rupa Goswami, we heard that you were writing a drama. Oh. Then Ramananda Roy, who's also a great author of Vaishnava literature, Ramananda Roy, he began to say, oh, what is your introductory verse of that drama wherein you identify for whom the drama is being written? Please recite that verse. But Rupa Goswami was very shy and hesitant. Why? Because the person for whom he has written this is right there, sitting in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the way that he expressed it in his shloka revealed. Who is that person? What is his real identity? That is Hari. He is Krishna himself. Now, Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita, like millions of moons shining, he has come with the radiant color of molten gold to reveal what has not been given practically ever for billions of years in the universe. Has not been given. Anarpita Chirim Chirat, a very, very long time. But out of his causeless mercy, Karunayava Tirna Kalo, he has descended in the age of Kali to give that. What is that? Samarpaitum Unata Ujvala Rasam Swa Bhakti Shriyam. Very special language and choice of words here that he's expressing like this. So, at the end of that verse, finally everybody was encouraging him, so he had to recite this verse. And at the very end of the verse it says, Sada Hridaya Kandade Spuratuva Sachinandanaha. All the devotees who were there, they were overwhelmed in bliss. They understood the rasik nature of this, and they so much gave their approval that, now Rupa Goswami, just see how he has revealed the real identity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as who? The son of Mother Sachi. There is no other son of Mother Sachi who can take that title. Sachinandan Gaur Hari. But then what did Mahaprabhu express at that time? What did Mahaprabhu express? The others, they were overjoyed. But Mahaprabhu said, he had a twisted look on his face of disapproval. He says, the shloka was so beautiful and nice, but at the end you spoiled the whole thing. Just like pouring sand into sweet rice, you spoiled it. But none of the devotees cared that Mahaprabhu had told that. So then Gurudev, before he ends this very short lecture on Rupa Goswami, then Gurudev quoted the verse, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Hyam Dadati Shva Padantikam. And this means, when will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? So, who wrote this song or this verse? Sri Narottam Das Thakur. He wrote this verse to pray to Rupa Goswami, and in this verse he has established that he is the one. Nobody else can have that title. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam. That he has established this mission in this world. Yena Bhutale means here, within this world. He has established this mission to fulfill the inner heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, when will that Rupa Goswami bestow upon me the dust of his lotus feet and give me shelter under his lotus feet? Now they're having the artik, and that artik, it will not have the swinging, only in the afternoon. So then Gurudev is ending his class here, And she has to wait until the end of the Artik to bring the containers. What? Yeah, because now only the Artik is. Oh, so she should bring? You can give her the key and she can bring. Or she can bring after the Artik. She can go up to your room after the Artik. Yeah. But she can sit and keep the key, and after the Artik can go. Posle Artik. Da. So Gurudev is saying here now, in ending this short lecture, he's saying that these deliberations and these philosophical conclusions, they are extremely deep and they are very difficult to understand. So it is therefore essential that one should come under the guidance of a self-realized guru and pure devotees, and give one's full time and energy and very hard labor and enthusiastic work in the service of that guru and in chanting holy names of Krishna and performing bhajan. One should also make a very great effort to understand and realize the reason for which Srila Rupa Goswami appeared in this world, and why he wrote so many books, like Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, Sri Vidagdha Madhava, Sri Lalita Madhava, and so forth. So unless one comes to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and makes a very great endeavor to understand these topics, then after some time he will be taken away by Maya and engage in mundane activities. This is a very important point. Did you hear that? Did you translate that? Are you reading that? I'm reading it one more time. Unless one comes to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and makes a very great endeavor to understand these topics. Which topics? Parakiya Ras, Ujjvala Nilamani, all these books that Rupa Goswami has written. Sambhog, Vipralamba, meeting, separation. Unless one comes to the lotus feet of Guru and makes a very great endeavor to understand these topics, then after some time he will be taken away by Maya and he will engage in mundane activities. So this is a very important point Gurudev is saying. So that's how Gurudev ended this short lecture. So what does Gurudev mean by this? I've been with him many times when Gurudev has said, in a devotee's spiritual life there will come a critical point where he has left his material life and he has left certain associations and he has now begun to engage himself in the cultivation of bhakti yoga. But after some time, he realizes that I have many anarthas, these unwanted things in my heart. They are pulling me. They are pulling me. And those anarthas will cause me to commit so many inauspicious activities. 4 types of anarthas. And one of those types is called aparad. And there are 4 types of aparad. So what Gurudev was expressing previously and here is that there will come a critical point in the devotee's spiritual life where he has not sufficiently cultivated the deep, deep understanding of Krishna's true rasic pastimes and nature, and the nature of how Krishna's transcendental pastimes with Srimati Radhika and the gopis is absolutely the opposite of the mundane rasa, the mundane sinful desires of the jivas in this world to enjoy their senses. No, this is completely transcendental and pure. There can be no comparison with this. So Gurudev said, at that critical stage, the devotee must have association to hear the subject matters of Krishna's pastimes, and he should hear from Vaishnavas who are more advanced than himself, who are also attracted to these topics, who are in the same line, they are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna, and who have affection for them. Then there can be an exchange, and so much nectar can come from this association. So Rupa Goswami's Transcendental Disappearance Day was celebrated by our Gurudev for more than, while he was on the planet, for more than like 15 years. And at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math Temple in Vrindavan, Gurudev would invite many different scholars from Vrindavan, Vaishnava scholars, and very senior devotees and Vaishnavas who have some very solid realization. And he would have a conference, Rupa Goswami conference. And for 3 days, they would all discuss and glorify the qualities of Srila Rupa Goswami, the contributions of Srila Rupa Goswami, and like that. So we're very fortunate that we are in this line, and Srila Gurudev is the personality who has very specifically made these things available to the whole world, and made the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the gopis especially available. So, but one other thing that I forgot to mention before, because I was asking the question why Krishna cannot leave Vrindavan, but it was not fully explained, because it's not only the gopis. That is the primary reason. But Krishna is bound by all the different Brijvasis' love and affection. How much is he bound by Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, all the elderly Gopas, Gopis? How much is he bound in Sakya Ras by his cowherd friends? Even the animals, even the plants, even the flowers, the trees in Vrindavan, Yamuna River. Krishna is bound by their ecstatic love for him. So there is no place in all of existence that is equivalent to Vrindavan. It is the place of supreme tasting of rasa. So I'm just going to read how Krishna is swaying on the swing. And that final pastime. It's very descriptive. You have it now, right? You have that. Okay. Because it's very poetically described. So from the beginning of that, I'm reading. So the stealing of Krishna's flute, this occurred in the middle of the springtime holy festival. Then on another day, then Krishna performed the swing festival, Jhulana yatra, which is the perfect object of meditation for those who are desiring a taste of devotion. And on that day, the sweet pastimes of Radha and Krishna far surpassed the sporting of the demigods and their wives in the celestial gardens. So this chapter describes Krishna's ecstatic swing festival, which is incomprehensible to the three worlds. You're reading at the same place? Okay. Now, the swing festival was held in a very special place in Vrindavan, which was bordered by a line of desire trees of equal height, with round trunks and branches whose ends intertwined, leaving a bare space in the middle. The line of trees appeared like a wall of sapphire jewels. And besides the birds who were inhabiting those trees, the presiding deities of the forest, they had also placed various items in the trees, including chamaras, silk cloth, long strands of pearls, jewels, fruits, and flowers. So there was a square-shaped golden stage that stood in the center of the decorated trees. In the middle of the stage was a jeweled kunja. Got this? Stage, then a jeweled kunja in the middle of that platform, surrounded by the trees. A jeweled kunja with 4 doors. 4 Hari Chandan trees stood as pillars in the corners of the kunja. The intertwining of the trees' upper branches formed an overhead canopy, and the swing hung on thin golden ropes tied to the branches of the Hari Chandan trees. So this arena, it appeared in the center, and each gopi group leader had a personal kunja with a swing in the 4 directions radiating from this central arena. Now the other arenas, lined with pleasant Devataru trees, they radiated green all around, and they resonated with the singing of young cooing birds. They served as embodiments of festivity for the entire earth. One swing hung from each pair of trees, and the sitting platforms for the gopis encircled the bases of these trees. Then golden chains tied securely to the branches of the trees, they hung down in straight lines. In the center arena, 4 lines of swings belonging to different group leaders faced the 4 doors of the main kunja. Then herds of deer frolicked about joyfully in the flat open land that was surrounding the kunjas. And the hearts of everyone immediately flooded with joy just by seeing these arenas, which were illuminated by Chintamani gems and by trees as brilliant as coral. The top branches of the trees joined to form natural, pleasing green canopies. And glazing upward forever, one could not find the tops of those tall trees. So the moonlight filtering through the canopies of the trees made small filaments of light on the forest floor that looked like piles of sesame and rice. And thinking it to be food, the female deer tried to lick it. Right. Yes. So the four kunja mandaps, raised platforms, they were so similar that even the devatas could distinguish them only by their placement in different directions. And in those areas, the Vana Devis had stretched a canopy in preparation for the swing festival. Who are the Vana Devis? These are goddesses who live in the forest. Vana Devis. And they make all the arrangements under the direction of Vrinda Devi. So they're called the forest goddesses. Now, so the scattered moonlight, it appeared like pearl belts taken from the deities of the directions, broken by the steady wind and broadcast on the earth out of respect for the land of Vrindavan. It appeared as if all the stars in the sky, in great bliss, left their positions to come and offer respects to the land of Vrindavan. Pieces of rustling silk cloth from the goddess of the sky formed the rooftops of the kunjas and hung down quivering like tongues trying to lick the dust of Vrindavan. The nets of pearls hanging from their cloth were swinging gently in the soft breeze and pleasantly resounding like tinkling ankle bells. The forest gods, they had decorated the canopies with strings of various kinds of fruit and with fine scented chamaras resembling white lotuses born from the sky or resembling swans flying up from the lake of moonlight. Wow. So all these incredible metaphors and similes. Kavi Karnapur, greatest amongst poets. The swing arena carried the celestial scent of aromatic aguru fumes and drops of perfume squeezed from the kalpadrum trees, piles of camphor dust which made lines of white smoke in the sky, impatient and anxious to begin the swing festival. So the devatas and their wives, the siddhas, the vidyadharas, the charanas, and the kinnaras, they were impatient. They wanted to see that the swing festival should now begin. So they played their instruments as they arrived in Vrindavan in their innumerable celestial airplanes. So in a jubilant mood, the gentle goddesses from different forests who were carrying various festival ingredients in their hands, they assembled in Vrindavan. And with friendship and kindness and all good qualities, they finished decorating the swing arena and they built an impressive entrance with the best garlands. So garland making is a very big and important activity in Vrindavan. Yes. So from all directions, flocks of joyful birds came fluttering to broadcast the sweetness of the swing festival. And they perched peacefully on the twigs and the branches of the trees around the arena. So eager to see the wonderful swing festival, the birds sang the glories of Krishna, while their own hearts, they swung in delight. And forgetting all troubles and impelled by curiosity, varieties of deer gathered in the kunjas, and they stood as motionless as figures in a painting. So, appearing as if they had not been attracted to the forest by the sound of Krishna's flute, they had not abandoned their household duties, and they had not opposed their elders, the doe-eyed gopis, like touchstones for pleasurable pastimes, suddenly manifested out of nowhere, as if coming directly from the desired trees. So the gopis, their eyes are being compared to the eyes of deer, the does, the deer. And they just suddenly appeared from all directions. So people were thinking, oh, where have they appeared from? They thought, oh, I think they came directly out of the desire trees. Yes. Yes. So appearing as if they had not been attracted to the forest by the sound of Krishna's flute, and they had not abandoned their household duties, and they had not opposed their elders, the doe-eyed gopis, like touchstones for pleasurable pastimes, suddenly manifested out of nowhere, as if coming directly from the desire trees. And then colored with kumkum, their loins glistened, ready for dancing. They wore fluffy petticoats covered by fine silk dresses extending to their ankles. Glittering bodices beautified their breasts. Their effulgent bodies were adorned with festive colored sashes and tinkling waist belts. And the soft rounded shoulders of the gopis rivaled the flower bow of Cupid. The gopis had tucked flower arrows in their girdles, and they held flower bombs in their hands. So they're coming to do battle. Oh yes, you need weapons to do battle. So they brought their weapons along with them. So in the arena of the artful, amusing swing pastimes, the blissful gopis appeared like the incarnation of Rati, the goddess overseeing festive love battles. Rati. And some gopis had flower pollen sachets hidden in their golden waist belts. So they had sachets of flower pollen. Are you understanding the Russian that is being read of this book? Are you hearing it? Are you hearing her reading of the Russian? I'm asking you. No? Don't you have the headphone thing for hearing it? And it's being broadcast on the, what's that called? Huh? Yeah, I mean, isn't it available that you can hear it? You have the book on your phone? But what?
I don't need Russian translation.
Okay, so is that understandable? That's my question. The book, because this is very intricate poetry. So many different comparisons. Very intricate poetry. So, you have it on your phone also? Ananda Vrindavan, the book that we're reading from. Do you have it? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Oh, but how did you get the book? Online?
Russian language. Just open Telegram.
Okay. This is not long. This is not much longer. Yeah. All right, so some of the gopis, they had flower bombs in their hands. And some of the gopis had flower pollen sachets hidden in their golden waist belts. So those bags of pollen seemed like the accumulated wealth of their skill in lovemaking, collected over a long period of time for purchasing the jewel of Krishna's mind. Some gopis held thousands of flax filled with fragrant aguru, musk, camphor, and sandalwood ointments. These thin, delicate flasks would break open with a breath. And others carried ingeniously designed syringes. Syringe, you know a syringe? Like this. Syringe that pushes a liquid. So they carried these where was it? Yes. Others carried ingeniously designed syringes filled with flower essences, kumkum water, sandal water, and musk water. And the gopis looked like well-armed soldiers, ready for the battle of love. So anxiously awaiting the arrival of Radhika Sham to start the festival, each of the gopis, who are the jewels among women, who are more beautiful than the soldiers of Cupid, they thought that she would swing first. So each gopi was thinking that she will swing first. So the gopis entered the 4 areas around the main area while discussing this amongst themselves. And out of excitement, they made a din with their loud laughing that resembled the sweet cooing of the cuckoos. Now, Krishna entered the swing arena. Now it starts. And who did he enter with? Srimati Radhika. And Krishna had his left arm resting on Radha's shoulder, holding his flute. So he's holding his flute, and his arm is resting on Srimati Radhika's shoulder. Yes. And in his right hand, Krishna twirled a lotus flower, while his bangles chimed happily. And a pleasing peacock feather topped his reddish turban that tilted attractively to one side. And Krishna's elegant earrings and his ear lotuses swung in the breeze, created by the bees who were circling his head. And fine cloth kissed his limbs, lit by the jewels of his crown and his bracelets. Krishna shone attractively with his pearl necklaces tinged red, from the rays of his Kaustuba jewel. Light, delicate footsteps accented his graceful yet playful gait. Jeweled anklets and bells adorned his lotus feet. Krishna, his splendid lips shining, appeared somewhat drowsy from chewing betel nut, yet his effulgence easily defeated the combined radiance of all the jewels that were adorning the ladies in heaven. Krishna's effulgence took the shape of a jeweled mace to announce his entrance into the bower of jeweled trees. And as Krishna and his servants ascended the dais surrounding the swing, then the birds screeched out loud, "Victory! Victory!" The trees and the creepers felt such rapture that their limbs erupted with tiny bumps, and then honey streamed down like a torrent of tears. When the peacocks stared at Radha and Krishna, they thought they were seeing dark rain clouds flashing with lightning. And though knowing Radha and Krishna from before, due to their unprecedented love, the peacocks madly cried out, "Keo, Keo, who are these two persons?" And then different celestial denizens joined Krishna and the gopis to celebrate their Jhulan Leela. So all the demigods came down to see. Why are they coming? Why are the demigods coming down in their airplanes to see Krishna's festival? Can you suggest why? Why are the demigods coming? The demigods are from higher planets. The demigods also have gigantic festivals there all the time. The demigods have the most beautiful dancers and singers there, and music and everything else. Why are they coming to see Krishna's swing festival? Why? Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Krishna is the master of all opulences. Because no one's activities can rival Krishna's in enjoying and tasting ras. And they are so intrigued, they want to get a glimpse of this. So they have come down, these denizens of the heavenly planets. So, in attendance, there were also charming, what are called charanas. Charanas are male and female Kimpurushas. And the wives of the Siddhas were beating expertly on Madala and Panava drums with their delicate hands. And the spotless heavenly damsels from Swarga and the Apsaras, directed by Urvasi, they held chamaras as radiant as waves in the Mandakini river. And they showered fragrant flowers from the Nanda Kanana gardens, which glittered like stars as they fell through the sky. So they cannot come down into Krishna's festival area, but they can stay up in the sky and they can watch. And can they see everything? No, because they're not pure devotees. They're not qualified to see all the rasic exchanges that are going on, but they can see a lot of it by Yogamaya's arrangement. They're also a decoration for Krishna's festival. Now, here it begins. In this atmosphere, Krishna mounted the attractive, comfortable seat of the swing. And Krishna looked like a regal crest jewel sitting on the cotton seat. And the cloth covering the seat was whiter than the foam that appeared during the churning of the milk ocean. Shining pillows also adorned the beautiful seat. And seeing that amazingly wonderful swing purified the vision and empowered the eyes to see other objects in a fresher way. So while the Devatas played sweet music, Mukunda and Radha marveled at the intricate workmanship of the jeweled lamps illuminating the swing. So that's why you'll see how decorated is the swing in the temple room today, and how immensely decorated are the swings in Vrindavan. Why? Because Krishna's swings were unbelievably, no one had ever seen anything like it, even in the higher planets. How beautiful their swings were decorated. Now, trembling out of ecstatic love, Radhika and her friends, they sat beside Krishna, who rested his left arm on Radhika's shoulder. And when the Lord ascended the exquisite swing, and he displayed his sweet beauty, which defeated the fickle currents of a river of nectarine beauty, then the Devatas and their wives lost all composure. So as the ardent desire of the Devatas' hearts to get a closer view of the divine couple moved out of their hearts to express itself, then that desire choked in their throats. And with that hope, they left the middle sky and they descended to the more favorable lower borders of the sky. Now, when lotus-eyed Chandravali and the other gopi group leaders beheld the especially intimate feature of Krishna sitting upon the swing, their eyes sparkled with blissful love. And the gopis, adorned with colorful makeup and tinkling belts, they mounted their respective swings, and they loudly sang sweet songs in the appropriate tempo. Chandravali and her group sat facing Murari, and Bhadra and her associates sat on his right, Shyama and her followers on the left, and Dhanya and her assistants sat behind Murari. Now, crowding the 4 outer yards, other joy-filled gopis sang melodious songs with the finest artistic skill. Their effulgent complexions conquered a garden of golden creepers. And as they softly vibrated their 7-stringed venas, then the gopis produced pleasing ambrosial music of unqualified excellence. And holding on with one hand and swinging their bodies, the gopis moved gaily on the swings as swarms of bees followed them. So with their free hands, the gopis took fistfuls of powder from the bags tucked in their belts and forcefully threw it into the air while their bangles jingled along. Scattered here and there by the wind, the colored powders spread a red hue through the sky like a screen of fresh Java flowers. The Devatas, anguished by this obstruction to seeing Krishna's pastimes, repeatedly showered flowers to remove the recurring screen of dust. And it appeared that the clouds dripped flower nectar. So as the manjaris gracefully pushed the swings, Vrinda and others shouted, "Jai ho, Jai ho!" While blissfully absorbed in swinging, Radha and Krishna hurled colored powders on the gopis. And when Chandravali and the other Sakhis returned the volley with their powders, Radha and Krishna revealed a unique state of fresh beauty. As the powders thrown at Krishna blew away in the wind, the gopis filled their reddened hands with sandalwood powder and other fragrances to balm Krishna again. Radha's friends, who were experts in shooting pitcharis. So pitchkari is the name of the instrument, like the syringe, which shoots these full of sweet-smelling colored water. So they assembled around the swing of Radha and Krishna, all these friends of Radha, Then suddenly Chandravali and her Sakhis attacked Radha and Krishna with pitchkaris full of color. And with their jeweled pitchkaris loaded with scents and glittering like the moon, Radhika's Sakhis counterattacked Chandravali and her group with a fountain spray of color. Then aimed mainly at Chandravali, that spray of liquid scent did not even once touch the bodies of Radha and Krishna. Then gathering their forces, Radha's Sakhis, who were eager to win the battle, they shouted, "I am winning, I am winning." And in the pandemonium, a few more gopis picked up pitchkaris and wildly squirted other gopis. So in the excitement to win, some bottles of liquid fell and broke, releasing thick streams of aguru and sandalwood-scented liquid over the ground. Now while the flower bombs being frequently thrown from all directions, while they came too close to the son of the king of Vrindavan, the gopis deflected them. So when those flower bombs came too close to Krishna, the gopis deflected them. Yes. These are the real nuclear bombs and missiles and deflector missiles, huh? So Radhika if however any bomb happened to hit the dark blue body of Krishna, then Radhika happily wiped it off with her soft hand, moistened from perspiration. And feeling disturbed, Krishna lost his composure upon seeing the condition of the gopis. He was afflicted with pride and with apprehension. So, to increase the pleasure of the doe-eyed gopis, who gazed at him with shy, downcast eyes like chakoris agitated by the moon, Krishna abandoned all rules of former conduct and he followed the whims of Cupid. Witty, humorous, and controlled by his consorts, the brother of Balaram, rolling his eyes in desire, challenged the group of gopis, facing him on all sides, eager to play holy with them. So here comes the peak of this battle that is being fought now with all the colors. Now Krishna, he readied himself to really go into battle. Here's the description. Now skilled at sport, Hari smashed the gopis in the southern direction with a deluge of colors. Then while moving on their swings and firing red powder at Krishna, the beautiful gopis appeared as victory flags of cleverness. Then Krishna subdued the playful, blissful girls on the northern side. Next, he defeated the gopis and their associates in the western direction, who kept swinging the whole time while strongly desiring pastimes of enjoyment. Their eyes and their bodies defeated the beauty of lakes full of lotus flowers. And then he conquered the elegant, excited women on the eastern side, who were particularly attractive, being seated on swings directly opposite him. And while swinging and throwing ruby red powder with his lotus hands, Krishna shared a seat with Radhika, who possesses the limit of all excellent qualities. And after winning the battle of holy, Krishna, smiling brilliantly, desired to please the different groups of swinging gopis. Now, starting in the eastern direction, he faced each gopi group and he dexterously moved his swing in two different directions. So when Krishna swung east or west, then he moved the swing directly towards the gopis in those directions. And when he swung to the north or south, then those gopis sat next to him. And in the joy of such counter-swinging, Krishna's necklaces, his forest garland, and his shining earrings all joined in the festival. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Ananda Vrindavan Champu Ki Jai. Shri Jhulan Yatra Swing Festival Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, now this is the end of his book, and he writes a few more paragraphs which we're not going to read now, but talking about how Krishna's pastimes are eternal and they never ever disappear. And all the innumerable universes, Krishna is performing all these pastimes as we are speaking. So in this way, Kavi Karnapur describes the glory of Krishna's Vrindavan Leelas. And then he ends his book with this very pastime of the Jhulan Yatra Swing Festival, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Krishna. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe Jaya Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jai Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Jhulana Yatra Swing Festival Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Shri Krishna Ki Jai 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 everyone raise your hands in the air and say with me Jai Jai Shri Radhe everyone together Jai Jai Shri Radhe again Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai Yashoda Nandan Shri Krishna Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Brindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Sachavajai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevaja Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Bhaktivedanta Sajjan Maharaj Jiu Ki Jai
Swami Maharaj